The No Bones Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the No Bones Podcast with me, Matt.
Chris.
And me, Rich.
We're here to talk to you about all the things UFC. Today, we're bringing you our first ever preview show, and we're going to get stuck into the already lively event in Abu Dhabi this weekend that is UFC 294. In what promised to already be a great main card event, it's arguably got even better after the unfortunate withdrawals of Charles de Bronx Oliveira and Paulo Costa from their bouts with Islam Makhachev and Hamzat Chimaev respectively due to their injuries. Dana White and the UFC have done what they do. They've worked a bit of magic and they've offered up Alexander the Great Volkanovski and Kamaru Usman as replacements. Throw in the unpredictable Johnny Walker versus the Russian on a 10-fight unbeaten streak, coming off the back of a draw with Jan Blachowicz at UFC 282 in Magomed Ankalev, plus the return to the octagon of an exciting prospect and a no-bones favourite in Mo Mokaev, headlining the prelims. We should be in for a hell of a night. I mean, boys, this event, like I said, what was already looking like a great event in the original lineup has probably got even better with the replacements that Dana and UFC have done. I mean, nobody was expecting Volk to step up and take this fight, but everybody is going to be happy about it. Everybody wanted to see this rematch, and it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen, and kudos to Volkanovski for taking this in 11 days' notice. I mean, the guy's a machine, and it's unbelievable that he's coming off, and we're all excited as we possibly can be to see it. What do we reckon?
Well, like you said, it's a great card. Well, it was a great card to begin with, and then it just turned out to be better. It's you could never expect that, and it kind of became the best thing ever. Volkanovski and the Islam rematch. That's you could not want anything more, wouldn't you? It's just the best thing ever.
It is. I mean, after the first fight, a lot of people were split on who won that fight. A lot of people thought Volkanovski won it. A lot of people thought it were a correct decision in Makhachev winning it, but for us to get it this early, we thought it would come eventually, but for us to get it this early, it's unbelievable, isn't it, Chris? I mean, what do you reckon, mate?
Fuck it. You know what? Wow. I've been absolutely blown away with UFC over the last few days. You know what? There were like a few doubts going into both main events, and everyone were like on like tenterhooks thinking, oh, is it going to go ahead, this and that? For them to turn that round in fucking 24 hours with 10-11 days notice it's absolutely fucking unbelievable, isn't it?
It was crazy, innit? We woke up, what were it, last Wednesday morning, we woke up to news that Charles had bust his eye open, and what a bad cut. If you've seen pictures, I'm sure we've all seen them by now, the pictures, and what a bad cut. There's no excuses there. He could not compete after a cut that size, and you're thinking maybe, obviously, Mateusz Gamrot were already lined up to be the backup fighter. It would have been a bit underwhelming if he'd have took it because of the scale of the original fight, because Charles absolutely deserved his rematch, his win over Bilal, give him opportunity to go back in and to try and win his belt back from Islam. But for Volk to step up, like I said, we weren't expecting it, but in 11 days' notice for him to take that, I mean, the man's a machine, and he's just absolute respect to Volkanovski.
He's a king, he's a fighter, isn't he? That's what he does. Like he said, he doesn't have the days off, doesn't he? Even when he's not fighting, he's always staying fit, exercising. Let's not forget, the only reason he's in this sport because he was bored off season of rugby and started exercising. So then thought, might as well take it, all the way up, really.
Yeah, and then he gets pound for pound number one.
Yeah.
And then even fights pound for pound number two, or, Islam loses a razor close decision, and he still ends up being number one. So everyone, accepts, what a close fight that was.
Yeah.
He's got balls like fucking King Kong, Anthony, let's be honest. 10 days notice against somebody, a formidable fighter.
Yeah,
Islam's a fucking wrecking machine. That were close before when he had 3 months' notice.
Yeah.
Now he's got 10 days' notice, and I watched a bit of a video of him. And
I watched that video that he released as well. Yeah,
he's just unbelievable, isn't he? He was our favourite fighter, really, apart from Big Tom, obviously.
Yeah,
name drop a little bit. Yeah. But he was our favourite fighter before, like last week or before. He don't give a fuck, does he?
No,
he's a proper fighting lad.
Do you know?
He'll have been rewarded handsomely, won't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, that's
absolutely.
what he said. He said when he had a phone call, then he spoke with his people, and all what he said, make sure it's worth it. There were no question whether he's going or not. He just wanted to make sure that it's worth
he
it.
didn't get
That's it.
he didn't get involved with numbers. He says,
No.
yeah, you deal with that side of it, and I'll deal with this side of it. And Dana rang him, supposedly, with one phone call. It wasn't even like a catch up. I'll let you know. Give me an hour to think about it. Speak to my team straight away. Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking in.
Do you know what? I said that as well. Do you know when we found out that he's fighting? I said I kind of can imagine how that fight went. Bring. Hey, Alex, do you wanna fight? Yeah, I mean, I'm in the airport right now. He's like all the way in. He just wants that rematch, and he feels like he could have done better. He said it immediately, and
A lot of people thought he won. Me personally, I thought he won.
I thought he
I
won
watched
as well.
it twice.
I did.
I might be biased a bit.
It
but
was
I did
close.
think
Don't
he
get
won.
us wrong. You know, we all love him. He's a fucking fan favorite. Everybody's, he's absolutely.
He's
fucking
number one. He's number
unbelievable.
one
Yeah.
pound for me. I know
He
John
is.
Jones. Is it John Jones at the moment that's got that actual title? But for me, Volkanovski's number one in the world, and this sort of thing just proves it. This sort of thing just proves it. To take a fight of this magnitude on 11 days' notice, and for him to travel across world to take it, it's hats off to the boy. Hats off to the boy.
Just think as well. He lost against Islam. Was it February? It was beginning of the year anyway. He lost to Islam. That was in Australia, so it's basically his own backyard. Well, it is, and he's not only taking this fight on 10 days' notice against Islam, and it's in Islam's backyard now. Who's had a 3-month training camp, and you just think, fuck me, you've got some balls, mate.
Which is, it's fair, isn't it? One fight in Australia, one fight in Abu Dhabi. It is fair, and I mean, I'm firmly in Volkanovski camp. I hope he takes him. I think it's going to be a tall order, especially for this short notice. But if anyone can do it,
I don't know
Alexander
whether you've
Volkanovski.
seen it. There is
Alexander the Great.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen it or not. There is a video of Islam Makhachev speaking with DC. You haven't seen it?
I don't think so. No.
When
no.
DC is on the train. Funny thing is, he didn't call him small man anymore.
He's a
DC
very
tried to
strong
pull him
man,
out
very,
from that.
very
Yeah.
strong man.
DC's knocking on nowadays. I mean, he would himself.
DC goes, you remember you called him a small man? You know why? Because DC is a small man, so it was a bit of a chip on the shoulder thing. You kept calling him a small man. He's like, yeah, I did, yeah. You didn't say again
He's
that,
too
didn't you?
small, brother. He's too small. And now he's saying, don't make no excuses.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he's come out and said now.
yeah. Well, he said he's
Don't
happy that's
use
him.
all your team are going to use it as an excuse when I beat you this time because you've had 10 days' notice.
Yeah, he's been putting that out. I knew that with his quote on it. He says, full respect to Volkanovski for taking this fight, but don't use it as an excuse on night. Which, Volkanovski's not the type of guy that will. That will use that as an excuse. He won't. He'll
He
turn
won't.
up.
He's not that guy.
He'll give it 110%. He'll put his heart and soul into it. And, I'm not ruling it out. I think he could take him. And I hope he does. I know everybody here hopes he does, but realistically...
I said it earlier on this week. I do believe that Islam is better fighter than he was that night. Because I think he improved. He had to.
Yeah,
He
is
thought,
it-
oh, you know what, this was close. Where do I have to improve and all this?
Isn't it an age when he's still on an incline and he's not on a decline?
Whether
yet, and
Volkanovski, I'm not sure whether is he improving or is he changing anything. I don't know.
and he's fighting a lot as well. If we've seen like with Izzy Adesanya, we're fighting every 3 months and you're doing this and you're doing that. And there is no doubt in my mind, win or lose, he will still fight Ilia Topuria in January because that unbelievably that got agreed, didn't it, a couple of days before?
He's mad. He's just mental. I swear to God, he really, really is. I think that's why we love him. That's who he is.
That's why
That's why he's number one pound for pound, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
everyone's favourite fucking fighter, let's be honest.
That's it.
I remember years ago, John Jones turned, I think it was against Chael Sonnen. He was going to fight a guy and he got pulled out, and then he ended up fighting Chael Sonnen, or they wanted him to fight him on the same card, and he just point blank refused it.
Yeah.
Did he?
Because, you're champion.
Yeah.
You want a good training camp. You
want a
want to be able
3-month
to
camp.
train for it. Stud it guy like John Jones is. He's a bit of a fucking nerd like that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He stud his guys, and a lot of formidable ones do that. And Volkanovski, he doesn't give a fuck, does he?
No.
He'll take anybody anywhere, and he backs it up. A lot of fighters say that shit, but Volk, man, he just does it. He just does it, and he's proving it. And good luck to the man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he said that today. A lot of fighters can talk, but I'll back it up. That's what he said. I will back it up.
He's coming from
They all
Ruby
want
Brown.
to think that best, this and that, trying to make money whichever way. But talking and fighting, it's a different game, isn't it?
He's
And
coming
he
from
does back
rugby
it up.
background, so he's used to running through walls. You know what I mean? So
It's unfortunate for Charles de Bronx, man. He's a great fighter. I feel sorry for him because I think he's earned his chance for that rematch. It took him a long time to win that belt, and he were a great champion. And it's unfortunate, you know.
Islam slammed him quite a bit for that. He goes, you know what? He never wanted to come anyway. He goes, he mentioned before, if it's in Abu Dhabi, I'm not fighting. But he says, I think UFC forced him to do it. It was, oh, you fighting now or you're never going to get a rematch. So I don't think he wants to fight me, where I disagree with him. Last fight, he made, it was like, he makes sure that people notice him again. He battered the guy.
Yeah.
To make sure
Bilal,
that he's
yeah.
there again, yeah.
He
And
looked really impressive.
Finish
yeah.
him, did he finish him? Is that
He
right?
did. He, honestly, he pounded him. He really did, and he makes sure that people know again he's back on the on the game. But where I do agree with what he said about Alex, under pressure when he gets a bit hurt, he kind of buckles a bit. Alex.
Oliveira.
Oh yeah, sorry, Charles. What's wrong with me? Charles Oliveira. Which he does, doesn't he?
Well, he has done it past, like, definitely. But you know,
Sometimes you get cracked, don't you? And sometimes you get choked. Sometimes, is there much between these elite guys, really? They're probably integrate. There might be 5-10%. Do you know what I mean? So they can all finish. They're all world class, elite fucking strikers, grapplers, MMA fighters, whatever you want to say. There's not a great deal with a lot of them, is there?
No.
There's the elite ones, but then a lot of them, it's like who trains best. Do you know what I mean? Who has like a...
And how it goes on night, isn't it? It's just how you're feeling on that day.
Which
on that
part
day.
of the world it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a difference, absolutely.
That's why these main two events are fucking extraordinary for me.
They are both. We'll get on to co-main in a bit, but yeah, it's a mouth-watering prospect, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
What do you think? How would it have gone then? First, we can predict it now.
Oh, yeah.
It's never going to
I guess
happen.
so,
You can
yeah.
fuck
Charles,
that. What do what do you think? Yeah.
With Charles, like,
It was too tough to call, and I don't think a lot of people said, "Oh, it'll be an easy fight for Islam again," and I thought, no,
it wouldn't have been an
I
easy
thought,
fight.
no.
If I were putting money on it, I probably would have leaned towards Islam taking it again, but I think it'd have been closer fight than last time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm kind of a little slightly against you two. I think it's probably 70-30 Islam. I think.
I don't think so. I think last
think
time,
I
think last time Charles didn't show up.
Was that last one? Was that in?
That was
Abu
in front.
Dhabi?
Yeah, well,
well.
last Abu Dhabi event. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think he didn't. I think Charles didn't show up then. That's what happened. He just didn't show up to the fight. His body was there. His mind
You know
was
what?
somewhere else.
I'll be honest with you. Knowing what we were trying to do today, and doing a bit of research, looking into it a little bit. I watched that first fight again, and fuck me, it was.
Yeah,
it was 9 out of 10 impressive from Islam.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
He was better on feet. He slammed him. He took him down. He submitted him. He fucking absolutely dominated him. And for me, if there wasn't much wrong with Oliveira, he'd have to improve a lot to be able to overcome him. And he's in his own backyard, basically, in Middle East. With I'd have fucking 70% for me.
But you know what? If you look through Charles' history, he's done that a lot of times. He literally came to fights and he had such a bad losses. He lost so easy to some guys.
I'm not sure if you looked at. Has he actually overturned their losses?
Yeah, and then he comes back a year later, fights the same guy, and he just batters. Batters them.
Losses then.
Yeah, batter them. Honestly, batter the guys.
That's
what he does.
It's just how impressive he looked against Bilal.
He has
Bilal's
9 losses, Chris. He has 9 losses. That's how many losses he
I
has.
said it before. Earlier in his career, he would have checkered career.
But then he usually, you know what? He never got a rematch straight away, but he used to get a rematch like a year or 2 later when he was on the high.
Yeah.
Every time when he was on the high, he fought them guys again. He was beating them, even the same 9-10. He was just all knocking them out or choking them.
He's beat best at rest though, hasn't he? He's beat Justin Gaethje. He's beat Justin Poirier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's my point.
He's only man in that weight division that can look up to Islam, and he deserved his shot again. And
It question, wasn't it? His shot. He's like a lot of people. A few months ago, were, backtracking a little bit, and they were saying he didn't deserve a title shot, Islam.
Well, that's what was Oliveira's problem. He hated that.
I think he'd fought 1 out of top 10, which usually don't get you a title shot, does it?
Well, I think they were just trying to replace Khabib with a similar one there, and Islam he had potential, and fair play to the guy is proved his worth, definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, he proved everybody wrong. I said it to Rich before.
he did. Yeah,
Even though he wasn't in top 10, he fought one guy in top 10. But when you come in and then you dominate it, then you get your title shot. Even if people think, you know what, maybe, what about Gates? You know, what about some other guys? If you come in, then beat the champion convincingly, it's more like there's absolutely no, it blows your argument out of water, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So it's not even a debate, really, is it? It's not even a fluke if you dominate the fucking champion.
No, and there's one thing for sure. It is gonna be a great fight, and I cannot wait. I hope Volk is on top form. I hope he turns up, and I don't think it's in doubt. It's going to be a great fight. What do you reckon, Rich?
I think it'll be an amazing fight. I really do. And I just hope that Volkanovski will bring his A game. I know he said himself, have I been on holiday? Yes, I have. Did I have a few drinks? Yes, I did. But he goes, I was still training. I'm still in tip-top condition or near about. And he goes, I still got 11 days, which is very short, I know, but, blah, blah, blah. So I do think he's going to, check again. He'll make sure he'll learn him again. I think that's where he's going to spend most of his time. Maybe not in gym, but learning the guy. His movement and all that. Because that's what Volkanovski does, doesn't he? He's really good at reading people and changing his fighting style to each opponent, which is quite bizarre thing to do.
He's a modern fighter as well, isn't he? Like I've seen a few bits of him, and he keeps in shape, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not sure if you know, but before he became champion, he flew. Bear in mind, he's an Aussie. He was flying all over the world, being backup for main fights in UFC.
Did he? I didn't know
UFC,
that.
I think he did it twice. He went to Vegas once, then he went somewhere else in World once. And I'll tell you what, Dana White and UFC absolutely fucking adore that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that's a backup, like Gamrot was, and he's unfortunate on this card.
He is unfortunate, and I do think that would be a good matchup as well, because Gamrot's a strong wrestler. He is a strong wrestler. I think it would be a good matchup for Islam, but don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's Volkanovski rather than Mateusz Gamrot. I mean, he'll still fly out. He'll still be back
This is
up.
for me. I wanted this rematch so bad.
I agree with you 100%, Matty and Rich, both what you're saying, really. Other thing to take into account with this fight, or with this card, is being where it is in Abu Dhabi. With Fight Island during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
They invested it was hundreds and hundreds of millions.
I think it was 1.3 billion. Am I correct?
With all Fight Island stuff. They were shipping all fighters over, flying them over, quarantining them. They were heavily invested. They did some big deals then. So point being, were they ever going to put Mateusz Gamrot as a main event?
Probably not, as they're trying to promote it in that country and stuff like that. He's probably not quite there yet as a name. He's on his way. He's Gamrot.
Well,
he's doing well. He's taking out opponents.
Yeah. Right. Ability-wise, he's grappling. If you watch him, he's an all-action. He's got some fucking qualities, that's for sure. But he's not a star name, is he? Like you're saying, mate? He's not
just yet.
Yeah.
He might get.
How old is he?
Gamrot, I couldn't tell you off the top of this.
28, 30, something like that.
But so he's knocking on, really.
He's on way, man. He's on way. He's getting there, and he'll fly out, and he'll be there just in case. But so like we say, he's not the star name, and they weren't going to use that as an headline fight. Dana and UFC did what they did, and they brought in Volkanovski, and we're all thankful
Guys,
for that.
When we heard that a few days ago,
oh my god,
fuck yeah, come on.
It was incredible.
That morning, honestly, I was gobsmacked. That's one. And then when I found out it's Volkanovski, I just thought it made sense. It's just I was shocked. It made sense, but I was shocked if that makes sense. I don't know.
It definitely was. And then, if that wasn't enough, we heard rumours about Paulo Costa. We heard about that. He's had his elbow surgery and stuff like that. Was he going to make it as well? It was sort of leaking a few hours later. Dana was saying we should have a decision for you in a couple of hours' time on whether that's going to take place. And
do you remember what he said before? Those Brazilians should keep their mouth shut.
Yeah. We were very annoyed about Oliveira's camp.
Not happy with them South American
those Brazilians should learn how to keep their mouths shut.
He made that very clear, didn't he? Like, he was annoyed with that.
Yeah. Well, he wants them to keep their mouth shut, but also open the mouth when they're injured. So
I think he wanted them to ring him before they do anything, instead of starting posting videos of
one had a
bleeding
5-inch
foreheads.
cut on their elbow. One actually had a 10-inch cut on their elbow. Other one had a 5-inch cut in his eyebrow. So they want to know when they want to speak.
I think Costa going to get fined by UFC for that, because he had he knew his elbow is not well, and he flew, and then he had operation.
Surgery about 3 weeks ago.
That's dodgy as that.
It's all
without telling anybody.
You know what? He was still wanted to fight him.
He did. Yeah. Well, he wanted tweeting out just like even after they'd announced Volkanovski coming in, and Dana had already said to everyone that it were looking unlikely that Costa were going to fight. He even tweeted out, says, "I'm not pulling out, this is going." So it gives us all a little bit of hope that we're going to have, because let's not lie, we were all looking forward to Paulo Costa and Khamzat fight.
I was really looking forward to that.
But we were 24, 36 hours later, we was wondering whether he was going to get it, whether he was going to make it. Sometimes we were thinking yes, he was. Sometimes we were thinking no, he won't. And then boom, all of a sudden, from nowhere, from absolutely nowhere, we're thinking, how are they going to find someone to fight Khamzat in 10 days? And then I don't think anybody on planet thought that Kamaru Usman were going to be that guy.
No, I did not see that coming. I was so surprised. I thought, Usman?
You know what? This sport never fucking fails, does it? It's on different levels. Nothing compares to it.
And it's such a good fight as well.
That a burnt card.
Oh,
It'd
yeah.
be fucking nobody get paid. Fans would miss out. Everyone would miss out.
It'd have been a local security guard that had stepped in or something.
Like against who was that heavyweight boxing a few months ago? Somebody stepped out and they got somebody out at crowding who'd done a bit of boxing. You just think, wait a minute here, you fucking joking? UFC are making like super fights in front of your eyes month by month.
This one they've pulled out, will come out with Kamaru Usman. Is he number 7 pound for pound at the moment? You know, we brought him out. If you think a year ago, just before Kamaru fought Leon for first time with Headshot Bang, he looked unbeatable. He looked absolutely unbeatable, and he would have been overwhelming favourite to beat Khamzat Chimaev at that point. Give it a year or so, which is what's turned around since then, and I think I'm pretty sure in saying that Khamzat's going in as favourite for this, and it's a crazy fight.
It's a tricky one.
Obviously, they've both stepped up to middleweight. None of them have really fought at middleweight before. They've both stepped up to that, and for Kamaru to take this on such short notice, I mean, also it's a great fight as well. It's unbelievable. I didn't think the original lineup for this card looked great, and I think it's got better.
Fuck me, we were dripping on that fucking first one.
I think it's
we're
got better.
leaking now, I'm telling you. Fuck me, it's moved on levels. That it's fucking unbelievable.
I mean, everybody's a bit unsure about Kamaru after his 2 fights against Leon. Is his knees going to hold up? Is he going to be able to do it? But like I say, he's still ranked number 1. He's still ranked number 1.
The thing is, I think he wants to maintain that title, and he wants to come back and say, "Hey, listen, I lost 2 fights." You know, he's knocking, literally goes, "I lost 2 fights. Guess what? I'm fucking back. I'm taking this fight with less than 2 weeks' notice. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him." That's what he's saying. I listened to him today. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking do this and that. Look at me." And I'm like, well, he did lose these, like you just said, these last 2 fights, and it looked like he did look a bit down and a bit wary when he was fighting and all that the second time.
He looked it looked like his body was giving up, didn't it?
Did you know? I didn't know that his knees are really
shot.
bad.
It's been known for a long time.
Yeah.
He can't train properly.
Well, I think tactically in second fight as well, he was a bit more wary of what Edwards had. You know, I mean,
because he was knocked out for the first time, it was a bit of a surprise.
Because there's undoubtedly you were winning that first fight against Leon Edwards. But
yeah, mate, he were 4 rounds up.
Yeah.
4 rounds up, and that commentary, from his from Edwards' corner. Leon, fucking wake up! What are you doing? What? You fucking get your thing. All that, and mate, how it played out. That were fucking.
He looked unbeatable in that division at that point. He was a bit similar to Izzy Adesanya in middleweight division at that point. Kamaru didn't look like he was going to get beat for a long time, and then all of a sudden, bang, 1 defeat. He seems to be rolling down a bit, but he's not. We can't count him out yet. Like I say, he's still ranked at number 1 in welterweight, and I know they're stepping up to middleweight for this, but
just a little bit on Kamaru Usman. He were basically the king at welterweight, in my opinion, up there with George St. Pierre and Tyrone Woodley. Nobody gets above them in top 3 welterweights of all time. For
Agreed.
Me. He's still ranked as number 7 in pound for pound, even though he's lost his last 2 fights, and he's still the number 1 welterweight in world, which is fucking, that just shows you to what levels he got to before. And if I can just touch on a few of his fights he's had previous to this, I'll just read them off. He's obviously, I think he's 20-3 in MMA. He's lost twice to Leon Edwards, head kick dead man, good on Leon. Yeah. But anyway, early in his career, as he was moving through UFC, he beat Sean Strickland, who's middleweight champion now.
Which let's not skip over the fact that I think Dan has come out and said the winner of Kamaru and Hamzat might get a shot at Strickland for middleweight championship after this.
I've got a bit of a spin on this as well. Apparently, he's been offered shitloads of money to go instead of Usman, but he said no way.
Yeah, that's been reported. Yeah, but anyway, going back to it, he's beat Strickland already early in his career. He's beat Tyrone Woodley, who for me up there with himself and GSP are the best 3 welterweights who've ever stepped foot in octagon.
Yep.
He's beat Kobe Covington twice and humbled him. And thank fuck for that.
Yeah, we all like humbling
Kobe. Like him. He's beat Masvidal twice.
Masvidal badly as well. Jeez, that was a bad beating.
Fan favourites, BMF title holder. And the most interesting one for me, and this leads on to what we're going to talk about next, is he fought Gilbert Burns, and I think he got dropped by Gilbert in first round. And he ended up going on to stop him. I'll be lying. I'm not sure if it was second or third round. He actually stopped Gilbert Burns.
Which Hamzat failed to do.
Yeah, if you just look at his short resume, I've just reeled off there. Twice against Masvidal, twice against Covington, Tyrone Woodley, Sean Strickland, middleweight champion. All them are fucking elite. He's basically lost. His record's 20-3, and he's lost twice against Edwards. Point being with Burns, that would if it were a few months back now, it would have fucking razor close fight between Hamzat and Burns.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
it was a great watch as well.
You know what? It were razor close, and Kamara, the nightmare, the Nigerian nightmare, dismantled him. So with this MMA maths type thing, if Hamzat struggled against Burns and Kamara basically flattened him, finished him.
Where does this fight go?
Yeah, Kamara being who he is, he's fucking hell. He's got double amount of experience. He's number 1 welterweight in world. Hamzat's ranked, I think, number 3 or 4. Hamzat's not in top 10 of UFC pound for pound.
No.
And Kamaru Usman, even though he's lost his last 2, he's still ranked number 7.
Let's say it's if one.
It's so intriguing that.
Yeah, it's if one's on ascend and one's on descend, isn't it? Which makes it such an interesting fight. As I say, a while back, one Usman might have been considered as overwhelming favourite. Now it's flipping, and it's an intriguing fight, and I for one can't wait for him.
And I think Usman has a big problem. Since he has lost last 2 fights, if he loses this one, that might be time for retirement.
Maybe,
I'm saying this in dead silence because I don't want that to happen.
It's a strange thing to say while he's wanked. Wanked.
His body is wanked
at number 1.
Yeah. His knees are wanked.
Yeah.
If that's even a thing, yeah. What rest of him?
While he's wanked at number 1.
Yeah.
It's a mad thing to say, but it's also a relevant thing to say. You're right, man. You're right.
It's because
it's so intriguing that, and what a fucking fight that is, honestly.
But I think he knows that, and he still stepped up.
If that were made for end of this year or beginning, next few months or next year as a main event, it'd fucking blow your mind. For that to be a late replacement against Hamzat, just to touch on Hamzat, his first 4 fights in UFC. Honestly, I've got it written down here. I have to refer to it. His first 4 fights, he got hit twice, and he landed 250 punches.
Wow.
Fucking hell, mate.
250 landed and got hit twice. And he's not fighting some twats in town.
Yeah.
He's fighting some big guys. I mean, he's one of my favourites. I love him. His box office is a thing that we say. And Hamzat's up there for me. I love the guy. And for me, I'm hoping that he comes through it. And for him to fight Strickland next foot belt would be, again, great. But it's no way near a foregone conclusion. This fight is so intriguing.
Yeah.
No, it's 50-50 for me. Hamzat, when he burst on scene, Hamzat's 12-0 in MMA. He's 6-0 at UFC, and he's got 8 first-round finishes. And I think one of his most iconic fights, when he first burst on scene at Fight Island during COVID, and UFC and Dana White loved him. He fought one, he finished the guy in fucking about 30 seconds. Straight away, I'm going to fucking kill everybody.
I kill everybody.
Yeah, anyway, he got another one then because he said, I'm ready to go again. And UFC loved him. So he had another fight 2 weeks later. You'd have to check, might be a week or even 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Fought again, fucked him up again. As he moved through on from that, he fought a guy, Jay Lee Zhang, I'm mispronouncing his name.
Oh, you nailed it, you know.
But anyway, he picked him up, and he fucking picked him above his head, launched him across the cage, and as he's doing it, as he's putting him down or smashing him down, he's talking to Dana
Yeah,
White.
we're talking to him at the same time.
Yeah,
It was brilliant.
I'm going to be a champ. I'm going to fuck your boys.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
Honestly, Dana White, Uncle Dana, he fucking loves that type of stuff.
Yeah,
because
back up what they're saying.
Reminiscent of Max Holloway and Kelvin
Like,
Catar while they were punching him and talking to, saying, I'm the best boxer in the UFC at the same time. While he's doing it. I love that shit, man. It's great.
Yeah,
when
no,
they do that,
he's
man.
fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah,
We all know it. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
In Middle East, especially, he's a fucking superstar. He's actually
Well, they all
resides there, doesn't he? He's actually moved out of Sweden now. He don't. Originally, when he first, I'm going to say burst, not seen them, but I've used that a few times before. When he first arrived, anyway, he was basically born into poverty. He was a war zone in Chechnya.
Yeah.
And as he got older, him and his brother moved to Sweden, and he were basically doing a bit of wrestling here and there, and he were good at it. He got in an MMA gym, and he was that poor. First 4 years, he slept on the gym floor or in a back room in gym. So
Wow.
if you're doing that for 4 years, what are you doing all day? You're fucking training your ass off, and my God, can you tell he's training his ass off? He's a
Definitely.
fucking machine. Just a few quotes, just to not to go too too far on with it. Dana White said he's never seen nothing like it, and bear in mind at the moment there's like close to 700 fighters in UFC. How many have been over years? I don't know.
Thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. Dana White said he's never seen no one like him. And that is, for me, that's a fucking testament to him for his hard work. And,
Yeah.
Uncle Dana knows what he's talking about, doesn't
Well,
he? So,
yeah.
It
this
is.
fight is-
How many fighters
wow.
he sees,
It is
every
when
Tuesday?
his performance against Kevin Holland as well that stood out for me because, Holland's another guy that'll, bless you.
He'll test you, yeah.
Holland's another guy that'll stand up and fight anybody any time, and he just wiped him about a
It was
minute
easy,
or
wasn't
something.
it? It was like us picking kids up, wasn't it? Fucking get off of that.
Yeah, and Holland's a good fucking fighter, man. I like him. He's a good fighter, good character as well, a bit like Chimaev himself. And he just walked through him.
I fucking kill everybody.
It's one of
I kill everybody.
it's one of the best.
fight everyone,
Him and
anyone,
Usman,
I'll
yeah,
kill
honestly,
everybody.
I've looked into it a bit more last few days. Him and Usman, fuck me, they've been going back and forth as well.
Oh, yeah.
Big
Yeah,
time.
they have,
yeah.
Usman were number one, pound for pound number one, welterweight number one. And he's saying, I'm going to take Usman and Leon Edwards in one night.
Right.
I tell you who's lucky in this for me, how it's unfolded. We know with COVID, with injuries and all bits and bats. Leon Edwards, I think he were down to fighting 3 times. And he didn't come through.
And it hadn't come through, yeah.
Who knows how that would have unfolded?
Yeah.
But leading on from that, I'd like to finish with that is with them two. They're both fucking unbelievable fighters, aren't they? I mean, I'm not sure about a prediction or whatever, but
It just
what does that do? Both of them moving up to middleweight. Hamzat,
I don't think either of them have fought in middleweight before,
No.
have they?
yeah, Hamzat has, yeah.
Hamzat's
He
fine.
missed against Nate Diaz, so he moved up, didn't he, to 185?
yeah,
Wasn't it not a
That's
catch weight, that?
no.
yeah,
They,
it might be. Yeah, you might be right. It might be 180, 185, 180.
oh, man, I don't. Yeah, you might be right.
But yeah, what a fucking fight that is. Both of them as well. Top level guys moving up, fighting each other.
Again, it would have been an absolute unbelievable move by UFC for that, but it's probably been overshadowed by the fact they got Volkanovski in to fight Makachev, and for him to do it twice on the same card. I mean,
How
But
many
do you know
levels has
what?
that gone up?
it's crazy.
Fucking, how many levels has that gone up? I loved it before. Fucking Jesus. Now,
Fucking hell, mate. Yeah, and just think the significance for Usman as well. So yeah, to accept the fight anyway in that late in his career anyway, 2 weeks prior, less than 2 weeks, knowing with 2 losses, knowing if he loses again, he'll probably have to retire. That is it for him.
I'm not sure if it's more like a free hit. I get what you're saying, Rich, but is it a free hit moving up on short note? You've got that a bit of a. That's the one thing with Volk as well. They're right what they're saying. You have got like a bit of a like an alley out, aren't you? You know, if you don't perform as much,
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah, and if you've
I'm not
stepped up,
saying
you've
they're
stepped
making
up.
excuses.
You've stepped
but
up at short notice. You've got a get out clause, haven't you? You know what I mean? You can say, yeah, let's write that off because it were a late coming. I've stepped up a weight. I wasn't prepared totally for it. I hope none of these excuses get thrown out at night, obviously. But yeah, I know what Rich is saying. If 3 losses in a row for Kamaru Usman, someone like him at his age and at his point in his career, could be
With his body
devastating.
that's given up.
Yeah,
but,
bear in mind he'd never lost in UFC before he lost to Edwards.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what you've got to think about. And there's still plenty of fights that's there for him to make.
Well,
If he
but that's
needs
the
them.
thing. Who would he fight? I was thinking about the day. Who? Okay, so if you forget this fight.
If he goes back to welter.
I think he's in no man's land. Who will he fight?
How old is he? 36?
He's knocking on now. That's for sure.
I'm not sure where he is, how old he is, but yeah, it would be interesting to see where he goes, especially
Yeah, because
if he loses.
he
this
doesn't
fight.
really have opponent now. He doesn't have where to go really, and I think if not this fight, he wouldn't fight for another year or so, or maybe even more.
Yeah, he's fought a lot of big heads in that division, hasn't he? Like
Yeah,
Colby and
yeah.
stuff
I think
like
his
that,
body's
right?
breaking down. That's what.
It's his knees. They said sometimes he can't even go back, go down the
He's
stairs.
36. Yeah, I've just checked. He's 36.
Yeah,
That's it. But we are in for a treat, definitely.
absolutely.
For them two top two fights, we are in for an absolute.
They
treat.
could have been papered events itself, couldn't they? Pay-per-view events, sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
PPVs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah, 100%.
They've been going back and forth a long time, Usman and
Hamza.
Screwball.
I'm not sure who. I'm a bit. I really wanted to see him and Costa.
Yeah, I'm absolutely devastated about that fight.
Yeah, I am.
falling through.
I'm more devastated than not seeing Oliveira fight. I'm like, okay, they'll do that. With Costa, he's very unpredictable.
I
He's
think-
like falling out
I
of
agree. I
fights
think
all the
Costa
time.
as well. If you look back at his record, he's fought like Yoel Romero, Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
Fucking believable fighter, and Costa beat him.
He were looking big as well, wasn't he? He were looking big
he
with Costa.
He were on
right?
that Costa juice, wasn't he? He only one coffee. Fucking
No.
Costa juice.
We were all looking forward to that fight. I mean, there were just a few days ago, we were all watching it together, build up and things, weren't we?
Yeah.
And what that fight were going to be, and we were as excited, if not more, for that fight than the Islam and Charles fight
that's right.
originally that were
And
planned.
now this
So
happened.
hopefully we'll get that in the future. Hopefully they'll make that fight again.
I think there will always be there. There's a bit of hatred between those two.
Yeah,
Face to
yeah.
face. There's been a lot of shit back and forth. Have you seen what he's been doing, Chimaev, as well? He's been texting Costa's wife. he's going. Honestly, he's been a bit out of order, really. But that's a fight game.
That's
yeah?
a bit much,
That's
isn't
a
it?
fight
He
game.
pushed it even further than McGregor. McGregor just kind of throws that out there. He actually does it.
All makes
That's
for
a
good
gangster
TV,
move,
though,
isn't
boys.
it?
Doesn't it? That's why we love this game, man. That's why we love this game. Okay, so fellas, where do we think this leaves this middleweight decision, considering what's happened this week with two guys in Khamzat and Kamaru Usman stepping up to middleweight division? And if you take into consideration Dricus du Plessis, he's unfortunate. He should have fought for the belt against Izzy. It didn't happen. He lost to Sean. This middleweight division has been absolutely blown wide open. And I mean, where do we think this middleweight division is going to go now?
You know what? It's been lit up like a fucking Christmas tree, hasn't it? When you looked at it before, and Adesanya were wiping the floor with everyone. You were looking. He were even beating guys twice.
Yeah.
On one of his previous fights, I think Jared Cannonier, where his backup fighter, he fucking wiped floor with him.
Well, for a while, it looked like the only person that might even touch him were Robert Whittaker, and Izzy took him out, 2-3 times, whatever, how many times I fought in past. And it looked like Izzy were just kind of cleaning up for years, and then Strickland come along. He took him out. Whatever you think about that fight, whether Izzy were in it or not, or whether he rocked him in first round or anything like that, but Sean Strickland is now the champion, and we've got these two guys in Hamzat, who we all know is a mental fighter.
Special
We don't
guy,
know where
innit?
he's
Special fucking fighter.
But we also agree that he could very much lose to Kamaru Usman this weekend. Where do we think it's going to go? What we're going to do? Who's going to fight Dricus next? Is Dricus going to get this opportunity? Is the winner of this fight this weekend going to fight Sean? Where do we think it's going to go, boys?
Well, if you look at the scoring card, I think he should fight Strickland next. Really, he should be given the
Dricus.
title shot, shouldn't he?
Yeah, that does seem the natural order of things. But if Dan has said this week, which I think he actually has, says that the winner of this fight will get.
Honestly, I don't see it really.
So what do we think? Do we think that the winner of this fight this weekend in Usman Hamzat gets that title shot against Sean Strickland, and then maybe is it Adesanya against Dricus like it was supposed to be, but not for a title fight?
Well, for me, Usman, He stepped in short notice, 10 days notice. Not many do that, do they?
No.
And he's being warranted. Whoever wins this fight gets to fight for the belt.
Especially after what's happened with Leon, you'd think he might take an easy fight next to get his son back into the swing of things, but to fight against
I think we have
Hamzat-
to take in consideration that this card, this weekend, blew everything wide open as well.
It
So
has,
it changed everything. And as it stands, this is the moneymaker.
Yeah.
So, like you said, one of these two going to have to fight Strickland next, and the rest are going to have to wait. I think that's what's happening, really.
For me, as you look at it, anyone can look at Omar, we can check it over again. For me, it still makes sense because Adesanya, he's lost 2 of his last 3. Strickland is, his new guy in town. That was one of the best, I'll repeat what I said a few weeks ago, that's one of the best performances I've ever seen against a formidable champion. That he fucking outclassed him.
He was impressive.
Whether he had an off day, whether it was problems with his family or his dogs or fuck knows what, Strickland turned up and he were fucking outstanding.
The most
Strickland.
average guy in division comes up and wipes the floor.
I genuinely think it was that first round fucking hit, the old man that shook Izzy. I know a lot of people
he
think
dropped
that.
him.
A lot
He
of people,
really dropped him, he did, yeah.
a
He
lot of
dropped
people
him.
think.
His timing, people underestimate Strickland. He's just a come forward guy. He's always, sparring heavy. He's got skill, Strickland. That he loves that. That's his bread and butter.
And he looks awkward, doesn't he, with his little weird stance that he does, and he looks awkward, and he don't look
It's
like a
effective,
champion.
though, isn't it? It's super effective.
It is. His defense was incredible, especially from kicks and stuff like that. We've talked about it before, where he steps back from kicks from when they're attacking him.
He
and stuff
must
like
have
that.
studied Adesanya so
Yeah,
much, so that
big
means
time.
he's a serious fighter.
And
Who takes
Adesanya
fighting
underestimated
seriously.
him, Rich, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
I think so.
underestimated
I think
him
you're right.
big
100.
time. He was saying on run up to it on preview shows and bits and bats they were doing on media. Oh yeah, what you scared of? What you worried about with Strickland? He was basically saying that thing to worry about with Strickland is his opportunity a middleweight title.
Yeah,
But he won't giving him any fucking props on anything he
was
were doing.
When you looked at presses and that before, I don't. He
underestimated him, didn't he?
Thought
He
he
gave him
was
props
going
for
to
his
be an
jab.
easy
He goes,
fight.
he has a good jab, but that's it.
He underestimated him for
yeah.
me. He was saying he's not. But going back to it, if you look at that middleweight division now, if you're Hamzat's fight now against Usman, if Dana White said, guess what, guys, you're stepping up, because it's short notice of both of them as well, even though Hamzat's been in training for 3 months or 10 weeks, whatever.
Kudos to Hamzat to agreeing to that fight as well, because
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman is not an easy fight.
Both of these guys are from welterweight division as well. He's saying you fight at middleweight, you both get a title shot next. Usman, he's already beat Strickland, so if he beats Hamzat,
He's going to fancy himself.
fucking without doubt he will.
But then, if Strickland brings the same performance as he did with the Adesanya, then the all hell breaks loose again. I think he'll beat whoever it is, Hamzat or Usman. I think he'll beat him if he brings the same performance. If he prepares for the fight as same as he did for Adesanya, miracles can happen.
They always say they refer back to styles makes fights, don't they?
Yeah,
This is
Easy was perfect for fucking Strickland, wasn't
he was, wasn't
They
he?
were like, honestly, have you ever seen anything like that?
No.
No.
I've never seen Easy so flat, and Strickland he were like, it one of the best performances I've ever seen in combat sport. That
And
he
I-
were fucking
I
unbelievable
do agree
against
that
a
he
legend.
threw him off Easy so much. Easy was confused. He didn't know what to do because he knew that he will time every move of his, and because he did. And Easy, I think he was just confused and he didn't know what to do. I generally think he did not know what to do.
Yeah,
he didn't know where to go from there. He's like, where do I go? If I'll hit him, he counters me. If I kick him, he avoids it and then counters me again. So where do I go?
I agree.
Shell shocked, wasn't
I agree. I think that Sean Strickland is not getting enough credit for what he did in that fight. A lot of people are saying that it was Izzy not being there as much as what it was a great performance from Sean Strickland. I genuinely think it was a really good performance from Strickland that won him that fight rather than Izzy being off boil. But people have different opinions about it, and this middleweight division it's a division that looked a foregone conclusion for a
dead in
while.
water, didn't it? It looked fucked, didn't it, really?
Yeah.
Easy were motoring through same opponents again.
Yeah.
And now, last month, let's just look 1 month ago.
It's absolutely spun.
Landscape's changing in such a way you think, fuck me, it's alive, that division.
That's why we fucking love this sport,
Yeah.
man. That's why we
So
love this
if you
sport.
look
Best
at
sport in the
imagine
world,
Matt
no doubt
Duplessis
about
and Easy, they've been they're on racist card. I'm more African than you. One's a black lad, one's a white guy. One's basically number 2 in division. Easy's still up there, isn't he?
Yeah, he
But
got
to
it.
make them 2 for me. And then plus, on top of that, give the winner of this fight we're talking about, Hamzat and Kamara, Sean Strickland. it just has more value and more juice to division, doesn't it?
And
Absolutely, it does.
can you
yeah.
imagine those pay-per-views? Dana just thinks shitching and again shitching.
He does. It's blown it wide open, as I say, from a division that looks like it were just being dominated by one guy. He only had one opponent in Robert Whittaker that had already been a few times, and it's blown wide open. We've got to feel for Dricus du Plessis. We have, because he's a bit like Strickland himself. He's a guy that won't fancied to get all the way to the top, but he keeps batting on. He keeps making his name. And he's got to get a big opportunity soon, and it's going to be interesting to see what UFC
Do you think
do.
he's still there in that fight with Izzy? Because for me, as soon as he lost, that narrative with du Plessis and
I think that's got.
Izzy,
I think that's
it
got to be
died,
his
didn't
next
it?
fight. It's
Yeah.
got to be his next fight against
But
du Plessis, whether
is
it's
it
for
more
the
like a
title or
slow
not.
burner? Because it's died is in the sense of, yeah, let's do it in Africa, South African against Africa. You know what I mean? All that narrative's there, everything's behind it. So it's still not died though, really, has it? Because it's still like number 2 against number 3 in division.
Yeah.
Or number 1 against number 2.
It's still a huge fight to be made, and it's going to sell, and it's going to be a good fight for them to get together, to get it on. It will be a good fight. It will, and this middleweight division now has been blown wide open. Like we say, it's crazy.
But
needed
it did, yeah, it
needed
was
that,
that.
I think,
But
yeah.
you know what I think as well now, which you might, I don't think you'll agree with me, but I think Izzy might take a break.
No, I think he will.
It probably
though.
needs one.
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
fair.
he
Yeah, I
He's
think
been
maybe
that active.
even as long as a year.
We've covered it before. He's been one of the most active fighters
Yeah.
over the last 3 or 4 years. UFC, Dana White absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Even over 2 days ago when they announced that Islam and main event had changed, he didn't say, "Oh yeah, Volk and his team." He said, "Oh, Volk and Izzy." He says they're different fucking breed. Them guys.
Yeah.
He says,
Yeah, they're both same camp, aren't
Different
they?
fucking breed.
Yeah, them guys are incredible, and I hope that what everybody thinks is because he's been fighting so regular that's what's contributed to his semi downfall at the moment. Obviously, it's only one fight that he's lost. Hopefully, that doesn't happen to Volkanovski, because it could happen to Volkanovski if you're fighting every 3 months. It's got to take a toll, and it has got to take a toll.
But I think Volkanovski has done that for a long time. He's always stayed out. Even when he was not fighting, he wasn't taking time off for 6 months, laying on his couch, wasn't he? He was always exercising and going to gym and
all elite
performing.
guys keeping good nick, don't they?
Okay, so anyway, yep, we all agree these are going to be unbelievable fights. But what I also think is going to be a great matchup is fight number 3 on this card this weekend, is Johnny Walker, who's a personal favourite of mine. I like the guy. He's fun to watch with his fucking worms and shit in octagon. You know what I mean? I do like him, and this is a big matchup for him against Ankalaev, who's on a 10-fight unbeaten streak. His last one was a draw against Big Jan Blachowicz. It's a big fight. Johnny Walker's coming into it after back-to-back losses against Thiago Santos and Jamali Hill. After that, he's been on a three-fight win streak. His last couple of fights have come against a win against Anthony Smith, which he got from decision, and he absolutely walked over Paul Craig, who, he stepped up to light heavyweight. It looks like it was a bit of a step for Paul Craig to do that. He took him out with a first round KO. And Johnny Walker and Ankalaev, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be an interesting fight.
They're right at top of division. Sorry to interrupt you. They're right at top of division, aren't they? If you look at the rankings,
They are, yeah. Well,
it surprised me actually, because Johnny Walker, he wasn't far from getting cut not so long ago. I think he was on a bit of a. You
Where is he
probably
now?
know.
yeah, well, Johnny Walker at the minute is ranked at number 7 at light heavyweight, and Ankalaev is ranked at number 2.
Yeah, so
it's a big
Ankalaev,
one.
who fought for the belt,
Okay, yeah.
and he would
you're
have
right.
drawn. It would have been a bit of a stink fest, wasn't it? I can remember both fighters, Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz, because it was a late replacement. I think it was in Brazil.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of fans were pissed off. You know what? Everyone's pissed off, aren't they, if it's a bit of a fucking score draw.
Well, it's rare to draw anyway, isn't it? You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
It's...
But he kind of arrived, didn't he? Johnny Walker. And at first, you might know more than me. He was fighting out of Scotland, wasn't he? And I've realised he's fighting out of Ireland now. He's Brazilian native.
Yeah.
I'm not. What's his name though? Do you know his full name or? Sorry to drop you in it, pal.
It's got a D'Souza in there somewhere, mate. I think, but we'll just go with
Johnny
Johnny Walker
Walker.
for now.
Yeah.
Right, so that now leaves us to talk about the third fight on this card, which is Johnny Walker against Ankalaev, if I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. There we go. We've got Ankalaev, who's number 2 in light heavyweight division, and Johnny Walker, who's number 7 in light heavyweight division. It's a great fight. It's a good matchup. I'm a bit of a fan of Johnny Walker. I've liked him for a while. He's a bit unpredictable. After back-to-back losses against Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill, he's gone on a free fight win streak since that. His last couple of wins have come against Anthony Smith, which he won by decision, and then he walked all over Paul Craig, who obviously stepped up to light heavyweight from middleweight. Against Ankalaev, who's he's now on a 10-fight unbeaten streak. His last one was a draw against big Jan Blachowicz. Ironically, Ankalaev's last fight was against Paul Craig in 2018, and he's a bit unusual as Ankalaev for a Dagestani sort of fighter. He's more of a striker rather than a wrestler, which is gonna make this fight interesting. It really is, and I'm quite looking forward to that fight as well. I mean, we can easily get carried away with the 2 fights like we have that have been made up, but I think this fight's up there as well. I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's certainly intriguing, this one.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's on a bit of a tear, isn't he? 9 to 10 fight win streak, apart from that draw with Jan Blachowicz. Johnny Walker's more of an intriguing one to me because, stylistically, I think early on he came again, and when I first saw him, I thought, fucking hell, he's got some potential.
I just checked something on him. 16 KO, 17 first round finishes.
16 KO, 17 first round finishes, and a couple
What's
of
his
machine.
What's his record, Rich?
24-7. So he had 7 losses. So yeah, 24-7.
I think if he
had 7
he
losses.
lost like 3 or 4 on bounce, but before that, he looked like he was on a proper tear. Physically, aesthetically, he looks fucking hell. He's a machine.
Yeah, I don't know if anything were going on personally wise, but yeah, he did lose a couple, and then he sort of turned it around, and he's an intriguing fighter for me. I do like Johnny Walker, I do, but Ankalaev, he's a formidable opponent, and like I say, he's number 2 ranked at the moment, so he's no sloth, man. And it is going to be a good fight. And look, he could get lost. Like I say, he can get lost with the excitement of the other 2 fights.
Yeah. And where did he come from? How come is he a striker from Dagestan? Explain me that. I just don't. I don't get it.
No, it's crazy, isn't it? We all, these
Associated,
Dagestani boys, we associate with
they were
wrestling.
all wrestling, and he was punching bag alone in there. I don't.
But yeah, Ankalaev, he's got 10 knockout wins and 6 first round finishes.
Yeah.
His takedowns and his submissions, they're not really there. He
Total
likes to
fights is
stand and bang.
18-1.
He likes to stand and bang, and so does Johnny. So does Johnny Walker, man. It's going to be an interesting fight.
I think it leans towards Johnny Walker then for me.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, it's only snippets really of Ankalaev, but
if Johnny Walker's having a good day, I fancy him for this fight. But if he's having one of them off days, Ankalaev is one of them machines.
To be honest, I've only
does that
seen
put him
few
then?
fights with Johnny Walker, so I can't really comment
Well,
much on that.
Like I say, at the moment, Walker's ranked at 7 and Ankalaev's ranked at number 2 in light heavyweight.
Who's ranked number 1? Is it Jamal Hill still, or is it?
Well, it's all a bit mixed in that light heavyweight, isn't it? Because we've got Yuri Prohachka and Pereira fighting for title, for vacant title soon, and that was for vacant title Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz fight, but because it was a draw, nobody won it, and then they've moved it on to this fight.
Prohachka is number 1.
Oh yeah, Jamal
Ankalaev is
Hill
number
still
2.
classed as champion because
he
didn't lose his belt, and the belt's up for grabs, isn't it? So
it's a strange division, isn't it? Because it's been relinquished twice, hasn't it? In recent times,
it's very rare, isn't it?
First from Prohachka and then from Jamal Hill, they both relinquished
both
it.
Terrible injuries. I mean, how often do you see a title holder relinquish the belt? It's a bit of a. It happens, but it's rare.
Yeah,
it's happened twice within 3 or 4 months, maybe.
Yeah, they've both done decent.
Same division.
They've both done decent thing, haven't they, to say, so it can move on rather than them holding on to the belt while they recover from serious injuries.
Yeah, this is a decent thing to do, isn't it? Yeah.
But that matchup they've made though with them now, moving forward is
I think they're trying a bit to revive this division as well because. After John Jones, everybody kind of forgot about it. They're like,
They are, but I mean, obviously, in the next numbered event when we've got Prohachka fighting Alex Pereira, we're gonna have a champion at the end of that, and then obviously I think the winner of Ankalaev and Walker will end up fighting the winner.
Would you say,
Prohachka
like,
and Pereira.
to deflect, to go off course a little bit? Would you say, looking at it from heavyweights to light heavyweights now. Do you think there's more depth in light heavyweight division, isn't there? If you look at who's at top, imagine John Jones amongst them now.
Yeah.
Jesus
You know,
Christ.
like a new wave of light heavyweights. I think fucking hell. Look at names.
Let's say we don't know how many
Jesus.
fights Jones has got left in him if he sticks around after
It
his
looks
fight
more
with Steve
spicy,
Taylor.
doesn't it? Light heavyweight division now than heavyweight division, really.
Yeah,
We don't
well,
maybe we could see the same sort of ripple effect that we've seen in middleweight division that we've just talked about happen in light heavyweight division.
Yeah,
once
hopefully.
happens
That's
there.
why we love this game and sport.
It is.
It changes that quick. It's like, come on, 2 or 3 days ago, what happened there?
you know, like now as well, the heavyweight division is stuck. I think a year from now it'll be completely different ball game.
Well, it's constantly changing it. That's why
This sport never stops. If there's a better sporting world on planet, I'd love to hear anyone fucking put it forward. Imagine Formula 1 football. Look at any sport, and then 10 days before, 2 main guys pull out, or something happens. It just adapts so quickly. It's different level UFC.
It does.
It's different level.
It's going to be not 1, not 2, but 3 hell of a fights, and we want to touch on one more because we've got a No Bones podcast favourite in Mo Mokaev. He's headlining the prelims. He's got a fight. He's returning to Octagon this weekend.
Yeah, he's returning this weekend. Mo's fighting a guy called Tim Elliott, 36-year-old, who's 20-12 in MMA. Sorry, Mo kind of arrived on scene, and he wanted to be one of the youngest champions ever, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's only 23 now. I think he was like 21 when he first came. He wanted to break John Jones's record.
He's 10-0.
Yeah, he's 10-0 Mohamed Mokaev, yeah.
Yeah, I think UFC, this is his 5th fight in UFC. He's unbeaten. His last fight was at UFC London 286. As we know, he was fighting Jafel Filhino, and we've mentioned it before. It was an incredible fight in that first round when he had his leg bent the other way. He absolutely refused to tap out. It looked like he was going to lose that fight, and then incredibly, he stuck it out and he pulled it round.
He stopped him, didn't he? Is that right?
Yeah, he stopped him. There were 28 seconds to go in third round, and he neck cranked him. And he won it, he pulled it round. It was
Unbelievable fight.
It looked like he'd not lost the round off. It looked like Mo losing his fucking leg. Oh, God.
It was one of the most sickening things I've seen.
I even said that's got to be a life-changing injury, you know.
Yeah, it was bent other way, and
I'll never tap. I'll fucking kill everybody. No, sorry, wrong fighter.
wrong fighter, but similar. I mean, like I say he's a favourite of ours. We've watched him come out. He's fighting out of Manchester nowadays, Dagestani original. But Mo is a great little fighter in that flyweight division. I think he's going to fly up them rankings, and I don't think it'll be long before he's fighting Pantoja or whoever it is that's holding belt. I know Pantoja's fighting against Ray Val in a few weeks' time, a couple of months' time, or whatever it is. But I think he's going to get up there. It's an interesting fight for him this weekend.
It's a bit of a gateway one, really, isn't it? Because
Have you seen his
he's
nickname?
ranked number 11.
The Punisher.
The Punisher.
He's ranked 11. He's fighting top 10, isn't he?
He is,
10
he
guy.
is, yeah.
As soon as you get into the top 10, things can adapt pretty quickly, can't they? You know, somebody can't make a fight. You can jump a few spaces, especially with a win or two. Before you know it, he can be knocking on door within top 5.
He's making his way up them rankings. He's a bit like, talking from our perspective and guys that we like from our homelands, he's a bit like Ian Gary, who's going through him. He's got this little plan of fighting. I want to fight somebody in top 20, then top 15,
But that means it's
then
going to
top
be
10.
exciting. Yeah, he's going to jump into any opportunity, late fights and everything.
Beautiful to see, isn't it?
It is, and I think that division, that flyweight division, I think it's open. There's a couple of guys at top in Moreno and Pantoja and stuff like that, and I think Mokaev is going to get up there, and he's an exciting prospect for sure. And like I say, he's a favourite of ours, and hopefully he cracks on. It's only his 5th fight in UFC. Most of them in London events. He's had one Abu Dhabi event before. This is his 2nd event in Abu Dhabi. Hopefully he's recovered fully from his injury from last fight, which, as we say, he incredibly managed to turn around. And I think that's going to be a good fight as well. It's going to be a fight.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
It's
Definitely,
a stacked card for sure, isn't it?
It is.
This evening is this weekend, not this evening. It's not today. This weekend is it's going to be an incredible card, and I cannot wait. So let's move on to some predictions. What do we think, boys? So we'll go round table. We'll have a look, and we'll see what we think from each fight. So I'm going to come to you first, Chris. And the main event. Who do we think, and when do we think the main event is going to be decided from Islam Makhachev against Alexander the Great Volkanovski? What's your prediction?
Jesus.
It's a tough one, man. Isn't it? It is a tough one. It is a tough one.
You know what? I absolutely love Volk. You know what he's doing. He's main man. For me, there's nobody. He's up there with best in the world, and
Oh, he is. He's pound for pound number one, man.
Yeah, he's pound for pound. I've just got a sneaky feeling. I think he'll probably lose on points again.
Yeah.
As much, you know what? If I were betting on it, you know, me being behind him and everything about him, I'd put money on him. But I think he'll lose on points.
Rich, what we're saying?
Well, he's one of my favorites, so I'm going with him. I'm sticking with Volkanovski. I want him to win.
When do you think that's going to happen? Do you think it's going to be points? Do you think he's going to take him out? Or
I think he's gonna take him out, or he's gonna submit him. I don't think points will do it.
Yeah, so he's gonna finish him.
It's just because he's in such a disadvantage with his height. Yeah. It shows, doesn't it? Even though he's very good opening pockets, getting in and out. But last time we've seen it, he just needs that. I think, like I didn't know, fifth round, at the end of the fifth round, he was finishing him off. Another minute, he would have done it.
I think so.
So you think Volk is going to finish Islam?
I'm just hoping he is.
So. I'm on,
yeah,
I'm on your side.
I'm a big fan of his, so I'm going with him. That's it. That's my prediction.
Matty, what do you reckon?
My prediction, he's tough. It's really tough. And Volkanovski is my guy. He is my guy. But if I were putting my own hard-earned cash on it, with it being an Abu Dhabi, with it being a late replacement, I'd probably go Islam on points is what I'm going to say for that. I don't want to say that, but I am going to say that. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong, but we shall see. I've got faith in Alexander the Great to pull it round, and I really hope he does. But we'll see what happens. Next fight up, we're going what? Khamzat versus Kamaru Usman. Rich, we'll come to you first. Okay. What do you think from that one? When and where and how?
I was thinking a lot about this one. So this one is really hard. I love them both. I love Usman. I really, really do. But
he's a legend, Usman.
He really is.
He's
but
a legend.
He has lost his last two, and like we said, his body is giving up a bit. He's not the fighter as he was, let's say, 2 years ago. He's not the same fighter. He isn't. So I think he might actually lose this one. Because Khamzat is on the uprise, isn't he? He's hungry, and I think he might just take this.
Okay. Chris, predictions for Khamzat Chimaev against Kamaru, the Nigerian nightmare, Usman.
Again, you've got to give all props, haven't you, to somebody stepping on 10 days.
Oh, yeah, that's true as well, yeah.
Against an home favourite. That's Khamzat's homeland now. He's kind of a resident there. He's fucking got us, wow.
He's sleeping back in the gym.
It's tough, man. It's fucking tough. It's really fucking tough to call. That's what makes it beautiful.
I'm going to go against grain a bit here. I think Kamaru Usman's going to win.
Yeah?
I hope he is. I genuinely hope he is.
He's fought better guys. I reeled about 5 or 6 off earlier that would all give, and one of them nearly beat Khamzat.
Yeah, but do you think...
I just hope he turns up. He's got 10 days' notice. He's always in shape anyway.
But do you think he's as good as he was?
Well, he's got 2 slips against Leon Edwards.
One was
an head kick dead, and the second one was on points, fair enough. But when you get knocked flat cold like that,
yeah, that's true.
Before that, look at his record before Usman. All his UFC career didn't lose once.
Yeah,
and there's 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 names I've reeled off there. He's fought much higher quality of fighter. So I'm putting my argument forward for Kamaru Usman to win. How he will win? Fucking hell. It's difficult, isn't it?
It is.
I would say, I'll put it out there. I think he's going to knock him out. Fuck it.
Yeah, I do.
Really?
I'm going to be wrong.
If he's going to do it, I think that's the way he's going to do it.
I love both of them.
I don't think none of them bothered about ground games. They just want to... I think they're going towards
He's going to kill everybody, isn't he?
For me, I'm going to fly right in the face of that. I think Khamzat's going to take him. I think Khamzat's going to take him. And I think he's going to...
You want to see that earlier?
I won't, man. I love Khamzat, man. I love Khamzat. I think he's such a fucking guy, man. I love Khamzat. I think Khamzat's going to take Kamaru. I think he's going to take him about round 2. I think he's going to take him out.
You're even calling rounds, okay?
Not even calling rounds, mate. I think Khamzat's going to take him out. I love Kamaru. Kamaru's been an absolute legend. His knees are fucked. I just think the preparation that
I think his knees are a big disadvantage.
The preparation that Khamzat's got into this, it's a bit of a late fight for Usman. Obviously, he's going to have kept himself in shape, and he wouldn't have took the fight if he didn't think he was ready.
That's the bit I agree with you, Matty. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the bit that I'm on board with him. Why I would have gone against Usman is, you know what? if your body's had enough, it's had enough. And I'm not sure how much you can train yet. He hasn't trained properly for years. If your body's not up to it,
Do you know one thing I don't understand? One
I
of
think
you
his
can
body's going to
enlighten
break
me.
down.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping, wishful thinking maybe. I hope he wins. He's got a better resume. He's fought miles better guys.
But
different
can you
level.
enlighten me on that? Why he hasn't done the operation on these both knees? I don't understand what's going on with that.
I think it might be beyond operation. I think it's just wear and tear over years, you know. I mean,
Yeah, but they can
about your
literally
own,
reconstruct knees now. They can take everything and replace with plastic or silicone bits, and I don't understand why they don't do that.
They could do, but I just think Hamzat Chimaev is just on such an ascent that I think he's going to take out Kamaru. It's not going to be easy, and I'm probably sort of over egging it, but I love Hamzat, and I want to see more of him. So I hope he picks out Usman, and I hope he gets that fight with Sean Strickland. And I think he's going to do it. I really do think he's going to do it.
Batshit crazy, like you say.
Oh, can you imagine them two? Oh my god!
So
Imagine press conferences and stuff like that. Hamzat against Strickland. Oh my god!
Who did you go for in first one?
First one, me. I'm going.
Volkanovski.
No, I think Islam's going to take it. I want Volkanovski to win it, but if I'm putting my own cash on it, I'm going Islam.
Rich, who did you go first one? Sorry.
Volkanovski, absolutely. In my book, he did the job the last time, so you know.
Well, I agree. Though I thought he won first.
That's it. So
That's it. So fight. Third fight, Walker and Ankalev. It's going to be a close fight. I'm a bit of a Johnny Walker fan, so I hope he's going to do it, but it's hard to call. I think that'll go all the way. And it
you know,
just depends
Ankalev,
who's
I've
gonna-
seen him before. I just can't remember how good he was. I
I'm
have seen
I'm
him.
going to go for Johnny on that.
I'm
So
going Johnny.
for that reason,
You're
I'll go
going
for
Johnny?
Johnny as
Yeah,
well.
going Johnny
Yeah.
Walker as well. We're all around Johnny Walker on that
Yeah.
one. So we shall
Johnny.
see what happens this
Johnny.
week. Obviously, there's another couple of fights on this card. We ain't got time to cover them, but I'm sure they're going to be absolutely great as well. We are now going to move on to a thing that we're going to do each week. We're going to talk about a future matchup that we would like to see.
Imaginary one.
An imaginary one that could possibly be made within the next 12 months or so. So we are going to talk about, we're going to pick one matchup that between us we would like to see happen in the next few months, next year or so maybe, and talk about why we'd like to see that happen, who it would be, and how we think that would go. So this week we are going to go to Crit, and we're going to see who we'd like to see fight up in the next 6 months to a year or so, and why and how we think that would go. What do you reckon?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be. I'm sure he's going to think there's something wrong with me, Big Tom. But I think Big Tom Aspinall against John Jones. I cannot think of a more anticipated or anything that gets me as hot under collar as that for me. You know what? Fucking hell.
I'm not going to argue, man.
The best of all time to do it. From my eyes, he'll probably beat Stipe. And then whether or not you give, if he wants to stick around, then he can do what he wants, can't he? John Jones, he's fucking. He's got, he's done. He's been incredible. But for me, I think there's only Aspinall out of all of them who'll give him who's got a full
Run for his
repertoire
money, yeah.
of skills on ground, stand up, speed, strength, power. You name it. I think he's up there.
I agree. The power of Mr. Pavlovich could give him a run, but as you say, the all-round skills, Tom Aspinall has got that. Because somebody like Pavlovich, John is going to look to take him down immediately. As per we haven't seen Pavlovich have much wrestling skills, we know Tom's got that in his bag. It's a great call, man.
He's more all-round, isn't he?
It's probably a bit obvious fight, isn't it? It's an obvious matchup because you can't expect
I love it how
because
Tom's
everyone wants
getting
to
more
see that.
involved now, Rich. He's getting more involved. Before he was saying, I'm not quite ready, this and that. He's had a couple of wins after his knee injury.
Yeah.
He's back, he's firing. He said he's never been so good, he's strong, he's fighting with all kickboxing guys in Holland. There's some fucking killers there. His stand-up's on point. He's everything about him.
Do we all think he's going to beat Cyril Gane? Because that's going to be his next fight.
No,
I know it
I
hasn't been confirmed. Do we think he's going to take out
I'll
Cyril
put
Gane?
my bet on now, him and Cyril Gane.
Yeah, I'm going to be brutal.
stand-up.
I'm going to say just, of course, that's just not absolutely.
I think he taps Cyril Gane out in one round.
In one round?
Yeah,
I do as well.
I think he beats him. I'm not sure he's round one, but yeah.
I do, yeah. I think he's on the fucking floor that quickly.
It's a great call, man. It's a great call, and it's a great fight. Hopefully, I think most people think that both John Jones and Stipe will retire after their fight in December, but we also all hope that they don't. and we get the chance to see these fights. And if we do, it's going to be an incredible matchup, innit?
You know what, mate? Knowing UFC after this week, it's been fucking orgasmic on it, let's be honest.
Yes.
I've never seen nothing like it in fight sports.
It's crazy, it's crazy.
It's fucking unbelievable. That fight card for this weekend, was top level. It was unbelievable.
And it turned out to be better.
It turns out both at main cards get the co and main event get cancelled. And we're all anticipating what the fuck's going on here. We're thinking, it's going to be doom and gloom. They put fighters in to make a level of a fight that's better than original. And you think, what the fuck's going on here?
Crazy.
As a fight fan, what the fuck do you want? If anybody's got anything against UFC or MMA, have a look in mirror, you cunts.
That's it. It is incredible. And fucking, as we've said time and time again during this podcast, Dana White and the UFC, my hat is off to you for making these fights, consistently making these fights. As soon as a guy gets to the top, he fights the champion. The champions or the number one contender drops out, and the fucking just replace him with another absolute fucking demon of a fighter. It is incredible. And fair play to you guys, man. We love it. We love this fucking sport, and we hope it continues to go like this. So thank you very much for listening to us again on this No Bones podcast, and we will hopefully be coming back to you with a review of this fight weekend coming to you next week. Hopefully we'll drop one on that. Like, subscribers, listen to us on Spotify. We're all over Instagram, the No Bones Podcast, everywhere you can be. YouTube as well. Sorry, I'm getting a fucking thing saying YouTube. We're getting that. We're not filming quite yet because we're in the cat's bedroom, but eventually we're going to get somewhere. And we will be all over YouTube, and you'll get to see how fucking pretty we are and how much Rich looks like George St. Pierre. You will be able to see that soon. Keep on top of it. Give us a rating if you like it.
No accent,
of it, and we will
Shitty
see
accent.
you again soon. So from me, Matt, thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep, thank you from me, Rich, as well. And I'll see you soon.
Meow.
Papa.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over,
No Bones. The No Bones Podcast.